it started. Mine may get interrupted, but yours won't.
You don't have a do not disturb?
I do. I just didn't do. I mess with it.
Well, if it gets interrupted, then what do you do?
Yours won't get interrupted. Mine should get interrupted. Who won't interrupt mine?
What? Well, I told Mikey not to call.
I know she like that.
Because we were recording.
I'm gonna slide over a little bit.
Oh, so we're going to have our drinks in here? Oh, God. Okay.
You good?
So first we'll just talk about, first we're just going to talk about, we're going to start off with a word, which is costumes. And then we're going to go into who we are and who we are today, why we're doing this, who we are, and why we feel, we're going to talk about what the show is, one word about us. And we're just going to talk about our relationship in one word. So today, and then we'll go into today's word. And then you
I'm
tell.
not scripted, babe.
You're going to tell.
You're the director.
Okay, so I'm going to have you talk about how we met and what your expectations were going in and what my expectations were. And then how those perceptions changed. What costume I thought you had on, and what, if any, costume you thought I had on. That does work. And oh, you can hear that ticking.
Hey, maybe go digital. Go digital.
Yeah. Unless you want a bomb in the background. And we're going to talk about the foundation. All right? You got it? 30 minutes on the clock?
It's recording right now.
I know. But I'm editing it too.
This damn thing's almost dead too. Jeez.
You're supposed to be prepared.
Whatever.
You sure they're both still going?
Yep, that one say 441. That one say 4.
see my hair sticking out?
No, it's mine sticking up.
Yep.
Voila!
There it is. Hi, I'm Rena Andrews.
And I am Glenn Andrews.
And we decided that we wanted to do a, what is this, a podcast, a YouTube, a discussion where we describe our relationship in one word. And it's called One Word About Us. And the way that we thought about this was that Glenn is, I work from home, but Glenn is out and about. He's a GM, personal trainer at a gym. And so he talks to a lot of people, and people are always asking him about our relationship and how we stay together. So we've been together now we've been married this year, 2022 is 25 years. He would say 10,000. And, but we've known each other, and we've been dating for 5 years to the day that we met.
Yep.
So all totaled, it's been 30 years. We have been through and go through thick and thin, but everything we do together. It's conversation. I don't make decisions without him. He doesn't make decisions without me. And we have a lot of discussions. Sometimes somebody has more to say than somebody else, and then other times it's just kind of like, what do you think about that? It's like, well, I don't know. What do you think about that? So, in talking about it, we decided to just take one word, and then we're gonna tell you how it relates to us and how we deal with things. And our first word is costumes. And I'm gonna let Glenn talk about how we met and what his costume or what he thought he was looking for, and then I'm going to talk about what I thought I was looking for and how it evolved over the years in our relationship and how we make it work. So costumes. So you can go ahead and tell everybody how we met.
Not to get into too much, and we'll get into that later on down the line. Met as a blind date. I was at Morehouse. I was a junior college transfer. Good friend, Dr. Owen. He's a doctor now. He was dating Rena's sister, and he wanted more time with Rena's sister, so he needed to get Rena out the way. So he asked me, hey Glenn, this young lady I'm dating, she has a sister. She's cute, but she's mean. But won't you come hang out with me? She's pretty cool. I'm like, well, bro, cute, cool, and mean, them is some weird ingredients. I said, you know what, bro? I'll go ahead and do it for you.
You said that's a weird costume.
Yeah, that's a weird costume. That is a weird costume. Cute, cool, and mean. I said, you know what? I'm from Calif. Oops. I'm an alpha dog. You know what? I got game. Okay, whatever.
What just fell?
Oh, just the clock. The clock failed. And so, probably couldn't move the table. And so, we end up going on a blind date. And
we went to a comedy club, which that was comical.
Yeah, went on a blind date. And I think about a week or 2 weeks later.
No, it was just a couple of days.
Yeah, I know we went on a blind date, but the getting back to the word of costume, I had no costume because leaving Southern California, coming into Morehouse, I was a little older than most of the guys on the campus. I knew who I was. I knew what I came here for. And along the way, if I met someone, I knew what I didn't want and what I did want. But I was really coming here for school. And so costume-wise, I never really had a costume. I've always been black or white. There's never been no gray area. And those who know me, which I've known cats since I was 8 years old, growing up in Southeast San Diego, I've always been straightforward. I either been quiet, not saying anything, or straightforward. So I really don't have no costume. What you see is what you get.
So when you thought about when we started seeing each other, because we didn't really call it dating, what was your kind of thought process on what you wanted the woman that you were going to be with to be like? What was your thought process on that?
I mean, for me, that prior dating and being in Southern California, having buddies that was playing pro ball and hanging around them, and really seeing another side of men and women at that in the early 20s, I knew I didn't want fake, and I could spot fake quick. And I don't care how fine you are, how pretty you are, your shape, all that other stuff. If you weren't a good person, I don't care how fine you were, I'm not gonna deal with you. Point blank. If you had a lot of drama or a lot of drama surrounding you, I wasn't gonna deal with you. So it really was those two things. You had to be a good person, and you just couldn't be fake. I'm not fake, and for the most part, I'm a good person, and so those were the two things that I mean. Those were the main two characteristics. Then it becomes the lifestyle stuff. I like to work out. I like to train, and part of that also too is I got to take care of myself. Yeah, later, once we had kids and stuff, we both kind of steered left and right. But the fact that when we first met, you was doing your aerobics and all your stuff, and I've been in the gym since I was 8. I always, even if we got out of shape, even if we would always find a way to get ourselves back in shape for our health. And then the byproduct is the aesthetics and how you look and all that other stuff. So, the young lady had to work out because I'm gonna be in the gym, and a person who works out and take care of themselves understand when another person say, "Hey, I'm about to go run. I'm about to go be in the gym." If I'm in the gym for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, it ain't no panic or worrying about what you're doing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So individuals who work out understand that, and it's not no jealousy of this person taking care of themselves. Then the other stuff become I had dated before with folks that had kids. That didn't work for me because it was the baby mama drama. I don't have no other kids than the kids we've created.
So that plays into your bunch of stuff going on outside and the drama piece of it.
No drama. And so, so for the costume, what I want, what I didn't want, I knew what my deal breakers were and what things I could work with. Because I know I'm not perfect, I'm not no real extrovert, so to speak. I'll go out and have a good time, but I'm not gonna stop you or the kids or my mom going out and having a good time. As long as you don't mind me hanging back, staying at the house, or going to the gym, or going work in a car, or with all the little stuff I like to do, which is more car workout, that kind of stuff.
So my idea of I don't even know that I would call it a costume. I had an idea of what I wanted the man to be. And I really didn't think that I could ever be happy with just one person. So I just kind of floated through, not really looking for anything. But I thought I wanted somebody who was sensitive and tender and smart and a hard worker. Money and how much you made or what you drove, those things were never important to me. So the fact that you were a student didn't matter. I know that one thing that is really important to me is when you smile, what does your teeth look like? You have
the anthropological
you
aspect
had
of it.
you had to have nice teeth. If you smiled and your teeth were jacked up, we was through. I wasn't interested. So, and from there, I kind of felt like since I was the one who made the most money, you just kind of needed to be there in my corner pocket, and you follow me around like a little puppy. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
That was what I thought. Now, so my costume that I had for you, I would describe as I wanted you to be my little puppy dog.
And you know what? Quite frankly, that's what a lot of cats are running in, though different because I had left a job that was actually furloughed for a year to come to school. And you were already done with school and in your career. So my decision to finish up my bachelor's was a detour. But and it's weird how I'm watching what's going on currently with the young men and young women in Dayton and how capitalism and money is dictating everything, or who's paying for dinner. Even that's dumb to me.
That's a. Well, I mean, I paid for our first date, but I didn't care. I asked you to go on the date.
But you know the thing was, I mean, I was living in a dorm. I came here for school, and I was living in a dorm.
You were.
And I knew I had to do that first year before I knew what Atlanta was about. So and the thing too, I had credit cards. I had money saved up. I didn't even know if I was gonna stay at school because up until about 2 weeks before me and you went out, I had called my mom like, "Hey, mom, you know what? I'm coming back. I'm getting my apartment. I'm getting my job. All this stuff, trying to do this at this school. I'm just gonna go to San Diego State or USC." And she said, "Nah, stick it out. Stick it out."
She did.
My mom said, "Stick it out." And then she hung the phone up.
So yeah, I think while you had a more holistic costume that, and I can't even really say that you were looking for, that you just kind of bumped into. When I met you, I kind of expected that you were going to be my little puppy, and you were gonna do whatever I wanted to do, which it kind of didn't work out that way. So as time went on, and I remember you described it as peeling an onion. When you peel back the layers, you know what's underneath. Does it smell more like an onion, or does it start to turn into something that's more beautiful? And as I started peeling back the layers on you, I was like, this is some kind of dude right here. For instance, one time when I found out that you weren't going to be my puppy, and I was a little disappointed, was I was gonna go to a party, and you were supposed to come with me. And I thought that we had talked about it, but he says that I talk about things in my head, and they don't come out of my mouth. But anyway, it was the day of the party, and I was like, okay, come on, we gotta get going. And he was like, what are you talking about? And I said, today's the party. We're going to the party with my friends. They're coming to pick me up, and you're coming with. He was like, dear, I can't go. I have to study for a test. And I'm like, but you have to go. And he was like, I don't have to do anything. So that's when part of that puppy layer started shedding, and I was sad. And of course, I was boo-hooing because I was like, but you have to go to this party. And he was like, I'm trying to tell you, I'm not going. So that was one instance where the puppy layer just kind of went away. But another thing that I learned about you in peeling back that onion skin, when we did first meet, I remember that we had the first date, which was kind of a nightmare. But you were really cool through everything, and I was like, he was a really, really nice guy. And the other thing that was really striking about you back then is you didn't have any hair, and that was before
all popular.
People didn't have hair, and I was like, oh my God, you don't have no damn hair. What kind of dude is this? But I wanted to talk to you the next day, and my sister was going to see Owen, and I was like, give him my number and tell him to call. Well, you didn't call. So I went over there to pick my sister up, and she came down, and we left, and then I was talking about you, and I guess you were talking about me, and then somehow Ray called Owen, and then we ended up talking, and we made a date to go out to eat a steak, because I love steak. And, that was another learning thing for me, because in thinking about the costume that I wanted you to wear, I was like, all right, so we're going to go out for this steak dinner, and, when it was, we made the date, and you actually were got there, you were on time, and we had dinner. We talked. It was great conversation. And you left. I was like, wow, that was really nice. It was no strings attached. You weren't looking for anything. I wasn't looking for anything. And I think through our dating experience, as we came to know each other, instead of getting the puppy that I thought I wanted, I ended up with somebody who paid attention to everything that I did. Like, he could tell me more about me than I even knew about myself. He paid attention to things that I did, and he was able to, because I'm kind of combative. So he was, or back then I was, he was able to find ways to tell me about myself and the things that I did, because I'm from New England. I guess I was kind of rude, but I didn't think I was rude. But he was able to tell me about things like putting money in people's hand, and how to treat people and people not your servant, and, you know, having respect for people. But he didn't do it in a way to, when things were happening, he was able to kind of come in a back door when I wasn't even thinking about attacking him, for him telling me what to do. Don't tell me what to do. You can't tell me what to do. And I learned that you were very confident, and you were very much, I would say, standoffish. Not because, you know, you were trying to be a jerk, but just because you had something that you had to do, and it was pre-planned, and it didn't matter. You stood your ground. You stood your ground. And it, you know, when you meet somebody who stands their ground, I think that just says a lot about their character, and you're just not going to cower under any circumstance. So that was something that I really admired about you, because you didn't just go along with me just because we were dating and you kind of felt like you had to. It's like, no, I don't want to do that. And I respected you after a while. I respected you for saying that, because when I sat back and looked at it, you weren't just saying that to me. Whoever called and wanted you to do something, you were like, nah, man, I got to do X, Y, Z. Or no, it wasn't like, well, my girl asked me to do something and I said no, so I really can't, you know, come up off of that and upset my girl. No, you just said, I'm not going to do that. So you were, I would say, a little arrogant.
Oh, definitely.
And that was different. And you were confident. You weren't afraid to stand up for what you wanted to do. It didn't matter what stage of life you were in. You were just like, hey, I'm not doing that. I've got to do this. And you were always on time. You always called when you said you were going to call. And then I came to realize the puppy that I thought I wanted, I didn't want the puppy. I want the grown-up dog. The one who was just the Rottweiler that was just going to grab the bull by the horns and lead the way. And that's exactly what I ended up getting. But it was a process to go through that. And just, I think, over time, and thinking of where I wanted you to be and what you actually were, the costume that you actually are, you know, it's a really cool place. But it just takes getting used to, and the ability to sit back and say, you know, he's a little tough, he's a little rough around the edges, but when I looked at all the things that mattered, you know, we'd be walking down the street. I never thought about what position I was supposed to be in when I walked down the street, but you got on the outside. I was like, I don't know. What are you doing that for? Right? And, you know, if I was having trouble with something, you just jumped right in there and helped me out with it. And I was like, what are you doing that for? I could do it.
You called your dad about the axle on the car you had.
Yeah, my car broke down. And I was like, what do you know about cars? You don't know.
Let me call my
I'm
dad.
calling my dad.
So go ahead and call him.
Yeah.
Not knowing that I've built hot rods all my life.
So, it just, over the years, I did have to be, and like you say you have deal breakers.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't really have any deal breakers per se. Well, I didn't really have any deal breakers. If you and you were really nice, and you were nice to me. So I was like, I think I'll ride this train and see where it goes. I was cool with it. And the end result was when I didn't want you to stay with me because
I was gonna get my own apartment.
Yeah, because I liked having my own space.
And I respected that because I had my own space before I got to Morehouse, and I really had a plan, and you weren't in the plan. I had no plan of females. I had plan of getting here, getting my bachelor's, then either grad school, law school, job, all that. My buddy in New York had a place. If I wanted to move up there, if I got a job at Morgan Stanley, one of the investment firms, I left San Diego with a purpose, and family wasn't even. Oddly enough, family wasn't even in the plan.
It wasn't in mine either.
It wasn't even in the plan. Now, it wasn't like I was adverse to it. I just saw what was going on in Southern California with the gangs and the drugs. And I was an athlete and an academic and got hurt and had to find out what I wanted to do. And I know I wasn't trying to go to jail. I wasn't trying to do that. So it's okay, what am I going to do? And so I knew I had to level up before I did anything, even for my own self. Just for myself, I had to level up myself before I did anything.
I think you leveled up as we grew together. That's what I think happened because we became really good friends, and then you kind of stayed more at my house because you were 29 and you were in the dorm and. That it was more comfortable at my house.
I was babysitting.
Yeah. And then you were just kind of there every day. And, the summer came and I was like, you gotta go and get your own place. It's time.
Which you didn't have to say.
I even helped you go and find places. But then when it really came down to it, we really did enjoy each other's company. And we kind of grew into it, I guess.
Yeah.
From there.
Because even that junior year going to senior year break, when I came back and I said, okay, I'm going to buy me a car, was working at UPS, still working, running a gym and school and all that, the plans were in motion.
Mm-hmm. And so we just kind of grew together from there. And I think we kind of evolved into the unit that we are. So I came to realize that, like I said, he wasn't going to be a rollover. And he came to realize that I could be pretty stubborn too, but I kind of think that you like that strong will because you knew that nobody could bend me any kind of way. And make me do something I didn't want to do. I think you appreciated that.
But you know what the thing is too? If you have plan on this person having kids with that person, you know what kind of person they are, what kind of character they have. Because there's some folks you're dating in the single life. Is this the person you want to be the mother of your kids?
Well, but were you thinking that?
But why would you? Yeah, because one of the things I had and very in tune with is how time is moving, and where I'm spending my time, it can't be no drama. It can't be no drama. So if I'm spending my time with somebody that does not give me drama, that means they have the character. If we do take it to the next level, they'll be a good partner for raising kids.
So what would you say in growing together, what would you say was our foundation? What was the foundation when we started building this relationship? Once we realized that I realized you weren't going to be my lapdog, and you realized that I was a kind person. So from there, how did you build? Because I was just kind of along for the ride. It's like, yeah, this is really cool.
I say trust and unselfishness.
So and you know, our foundation, it really is built on a lot of trust, because we have a lot of the same interests, and we have the same goals, but we go about doing them in different ways. Plus, we're we're opposites. So I'm outgoing and friendly, and I like people, and I believe in people in the greater good, whereas you're more reserved. You don't like being around a bunch of people. You get nervous around a bunch of people because you're always ready for something to happen and how you're going to have to defend me or me and the kids.
That's that upbringing.
So we're treated. I like being out and about. You don't.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like where I felt like you should come with me. I came to learn that just is not the person that you are, and I accepted that, and it's okay. But at the same time, you weren't telling me that I couldn't go.
Nah, I mean, when I step outside the 40 acres in a mule, and I have you kids, even with mom and dad or whatever, it's almost like I'm on point and working. So it's not, and that's any responsible alpha dog male. When he step out the door and he have kids and family, you got to be on point. That's just this world. You got to be on point. And I have no problem with that.
And what do? I just like skip the skip.
Nah, and that's cool. I don't, that's good. That's is dangerous, but that's you. But I have no problem being on point. If some folks don't want that job. I don't have that problem with that job, but I don't say a job, that task. But that's just the hand you're dealt when you have responsibilities, and you are the protector. And so every now and then you just kind of need your break from it. Is, you know what? I'm not going to the mall with y'all, but y'all gonna have to be careful. Park here, lock your doors, look around, be safe. All the little, I tell you all the little prep things to do. And the probability of something going bad.
And see, I never used to even used to think like that.
Look at Linux and that fits
you
now.
You kind of grown on me. So and just wrapping things up. So what I thought I wanted isn't what I got at all. I'm not sure what the hell you wanted or whether or not you got it, but
yes, because I'll say this. I knew I didn't want to raise kids in my boys is in all my boys in California. I didn't want to raise kids in California.
Oh.
That I did know. I Southern Cal. I didn't want to raise kids or raise a family in Southern California because I just knew it just present challenges.
So you're happy that you met me because we didn't raise kids.
No, but we're here. We're on the east. We're here. We're on the east in the south, and it's not Southern California because. I even left Southern California because I didn't want to date nobody from Southern California anymore. I'm sorry, my friends, ladies I know from Southern, because I just saw so much fake. I didn't want to raise kids in that. I had got tired of that.
So you got what you wanted in me because you went in Southern California. See how offensive he is?
That ain't offensive. I'm just keeping it. Look at our two. They're as far as being like California kids.
Well, we're not talking about our children.
Well, I know, but I'm just saying.
I was asking if you got what you wanted in a wife, and then you go on this rampage.
Yes.
About Southern California.
But anyway, so I knew I did. If I ever had kids, I knew I didn't want to live and raise them in Southern California.
You're lucky that I like you. Oh my God.
So that I knew. I don't even know if I even told you about that. That I knew.
Well, I know now.
Yeah, I was like, nah, and my buddies that have done it, man, they all my friends who are still Southern California done a fantastic job with their kids. I was like, and most of them had their girlfriends married before I left, so I was probably the last one. And I think now y'all already got the best of the crop. I gotta go find me somebody from somewhere else.
Wow.
Anyway.
Anyway, so in looking at our costumes from where we were to where we are, how
No
would
costume.
you describe how our costumes are from then to now?
Just growth over time, dealing with corporate America, raising kids, and getting close to being empty nesters outside of our taking care of your mom. But for the most part, actually, it don't seem no different to me in a weird way than when we were in the apartment.
It really doesn't, huh?
Nope, got another dog, just like we had Zelda when we had. No, we had just moved into the house when we got the dog.
Yeah, you wouldn't let me have a dog in the
Yeah.
apartment. So yeah, I mean, I would say, you know, it's been a fun 30-year run. And I think that when you grow together and as those roles change, as you change that costume, you go from first we were independent and then we became us and we bought the house and that was even before we were married. And then we kind of did things in reverse. Then we became parents, and so that was we shed into a new costume, and learning each other and dealing with a new baby. And then we had a second baby, and growing through that because I didn't want to just have one baby, so. But in growing through that, and I think one thing that was always important was we always kept each other first. The kids they never came before us, and they even know that today. It's like mom and dad, and then we're kind of like down the line. Maybe they care about us, but we know they care about each other. And I think that as those costumes changed over the years, because we ironed out so many things in the beginning with
We got
just
good work ethic though. We're not lazy neither.
well, I'm not even talking about work wise. I'm just talking about getting to know somebody and just putting everything out on the table because there was no walking on eggshells around you. You were just gonna say it, and you weren't saying things to be hurtful. You were saying just the reality of a situation.
You can have a drama-free life.
And whether or not you liked it, and I was like, well, I gotta appreciate the fact that you told it to me, rather than holding it in and fester. We never let things fester. So through all of our wardrobe and costume changes, we've always been able, because we set that line of communication early, we've always been able to work through everything because we can always be open and honest, and
You know what though?
it's not even about feelings.
It's still what I see missing with a lot of folks. One
You gotta take your hand out of your face.
kind of a dishonest. I wouldn't say dishonesty on being dishonest on purpose, but some individuals are not good people. Some individuals are not a good person. They're selfish, and that selfishness is not making them a kind person. And if you're not kind, that's like that's the biggest deal breaker. If you're not a kind, nice person,
Really?
there's just no way if a guy is a nice guy and the young lady is a nice young lady, they can't find middle ground. But more often than not, one of those two is just not a nice person. And sadly, to me, there's just too many unkind. Is that a word?
Yeah, it is.
There's just too many unkind people floating around thinking they deserve more than who they are.
No, that
So that's my take on it. I
that
know
could be.
I'm a good man, a good person in the end. So I knew it was gonna work out even from the early dating years with some of the stuff that I ran into where individuals just wasn't kind, and that's cool. That's cool because that was just a learning lesson for me, and it showed that I had enough strength and I like myself and respect myself enough not to put up with no crap and keep it moving.
Yeah, I think that you have to always go into everything with your eyes open, and if something is bothering you, you have to be able to talk to the person that you love about it. Cuz if you don't, all it's going to do is just create something that's burning in the pit of your stomach, and it just grows and grows and grows until it explodes, and then you're past the point of no return.
But even with that, it's not the message. It's not the messenger. It's the message. And if that message doesn't fall within them 10 Commandments and that thing of unselfish kindness, consideration, concern, trust, or the breaking of, then that's a whole nother set of nah. This ain't this person. This not the person you should be with.
So for us then, in conclusion, when we look at from where we were back then to now, the first things, it's so funny. The first things that we looked at was character.
Yeah,
The character of the person.
character.
We
Big.
didn't look at the money,
Nope.
didn't look at where we lived,
Nope.
didn't look at the car,
What kind of person are you?
didn't look at what I did or what you did.
Nope.
We just got to know each other's character.
Yep.
And so I think in the end, our final costume was our character.
Yep. It's character. It's your character. And that outweighs everything.
Do people go by that today? I don't know because I'm not out there.
I know because of the young folks that come through my gym, and sadly, it's the lack of character. It's the lack of character. The ones that have it are, and it's male. I've had male and females with character run into individuals with no character and no kindness, and they searching, but they with the wrong one, and it's almost
Yeah.
like, man, am I gonna have to settle? And it's sad. Like you almost got to say, you know what? I'd rather be by myself than to deal with that madness. But it's a billion people on this planet. They out there. You gotta change up how you move, change your surroundings. So
Yeah, well, you know,
I left California.
yeah, but I wouldn't have met you if it went for my sister.
I mean, stuff like that happens.
That's what did you call it? The planets all lined
The
up,
planets are lining up.
and the good Lord dropped you in my path.
Because talk to my aunts, they said I ain't never getting married. Glenn ain't gonna find nobody because they not gonna they gonna have to go build them at Nassau or something.
They have to not be in Southern California.
That's a strike against you.
Oh my God.
Anyway. In
In
closing.
the costume for us was character.
Character.
And the character of the person. That, as Martin Luther King would say, the content of their character.
My Morehouse alum.
Yeah, it sure is. So that's the word of the day, costume. When you're out there looking for that person, you have to decide what costume it is that you're actually looking for. But in the end, that really might not be the costume that you want to pick. You have to look beyond the costume and see what that person is made of and judge the character over everything else, that intangible, the character versus the car or their money or their affluence or their status or their house, who their friends are, what social circle they move in. If they don't have character, then
That's
it's probably not worth
content of
spending
the
the
character.
time. And somebody can have all of those things and be a really, really good person.
Yep.
But you have to understand too that the person who has all of those things might be very wary of what you're interested in them for. So
But here again, it comes back to the content of their character.
it really
So
does.
that's what it is. All right, this is Glenn Andrews.
Rena Andrews, boom, love you, babe. He don't say I love you. This is just not coming out of his mouth, but it's okay because I know he does. It's my bunny.
There you go. All right, you got the edit. I know you got video. No interruptions. I see 45 minutes. 45 minutes.